I want to say thank you so much for joining me on the Coach's Corner. My name is Karen Graves, and I am a sales and marketing coach who helps people who sell the advice in their heads, coaches, consultants, speakers, authors, make more money doing what they love to do in a way that feels authentic, with confidence and with ease. You know, I want you to feel powerful and in believing in what you put out in the world, so that you can do good work and feel good doing it. So I'm so glad that you're joining me. I'm doing the Coach's Corner every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern. And as you can see, we're a little later today because of my daughter's school set schedule. Wait, hold on. My buddy and co-host Jay Noggles jumping in. Jay, I have to see if I can give you, where's the whole host thing? Oh, hold on. Oh, there we go. Did I wait?
How are you?
Good. Are you now deemed co-host? Tell you? Do you have any powers?
I can't tell on. Yeah, I can't tell on my end.
I don't know. I think you have special powers. So thank you so much for joining, Jay. Jay is my co-host and with the Mo-host. I don't know what that was really funny.
You're awesome.
But Jay keeps me in line, on target. And in today's topic, we're going to talk about, you know, how to turn followers, fans, friends into clients. And, you know, so I'm going to give some tips on that because, you know, I definitely love to talk about all things sales conversion, sales funnels, the things that are going to help your business run so that you are making money doing what you love. Now, Jay is the video guy. So I deemed him the video guy because Jay knows all this cool stuff about how to look good on camera, whether it's your lighting, your setting, you know, how you're positioned, the equipment that you should use. And he takes his years of experience and knowledge, and he helps people like us who want to be on camera look better doing it. So Jay and I were, we'll save this for the end, but I was having a question yesterday, and he picked it up online about the difference between the iPhone 6S, the 6S, 6 Plus, and all that. So we'll talk about that a little later. But I believe people are here because they want to hear, you know, how do you turn your fans, your followers, your friends, those likes, those shares, all that stuff, clients. And so tell me, Jay, when it comes to, you know, selling your stuff online, what are some of the questions that you have, or what are some of the things that you see that you'd like to know more about?
I think one of the biggest things that I've figured out on my own is the hang up. Excuse me if I'm kind of froggy because I've been sick, and I feel a lot better, but I don't sound very good. So that's
a little like Barry. What was the Wolfman?
Barry. Oh yeah, there you go. So I think that what I've learned is there's a couple of things. There's a trust issue that you have to overcome and get past that barrier. And then you also have to have the right services for the right audience. And I've learned that just because something is not expensive or inexpensive or can save someone money, that may not be necessarily a good way to go with a product or service offering, because it may be the wrong market.
So we're going to dig into that a little bit. And, you know, Jay and I have a lot of offline conversations. And what I appreciate about Jay is, like, sometimes I go off on these rants and he just takes it and he's like, okay. And but then he turns it over in his mind. And it always, you know, I always appreciate the fact that he's paying attention. So, you know, some of these rants are just for the benefit of others. And so that's why, you know, I do this work, because I want people to do what makes the most sense for them in the easiest manner possible, without getting confused and overwhelmed by all the information that you can find on the web. I mean, you can find tons of information on the web. And one of the things that when it comes into, you know, how do you turn your followers, your fans, your friends, and if you like this topic, please tweet a little bird, share it with the world. You know, when it comes to all of that, there are so many vehicles and ways to do it. And first of all, if you're on all of these platforms, it's like, how do you manage all of the people that are your fans, your followers, your friends, and all that? And how do you turn that into business, right? And so some of the things that I've learned over the years in studying, just working my own business, working with my clients, and then studying internet marketing is that I found, especially when it comes to social media, that the one saving grace that anybody can do at any time is to determine what is your end goal. What is it that you are ultimately trying to do? Start with the end in mind. I can't tell you how many internet marketers are like the smartest business people on the planet. I am convinced. Them and drug dealers.
Why is that?
And I can't even tell you why. Drug dealers are just like so smart to me. But doesn't mean that they're ethical, doesn't mean it's moral, but they're just really like the way they think.
Right.
But internet marketers, because they are constantly studying what works, what doesn't work. They're constantly testing, which, I think that for anybody to be really successful in business, you have to be willing to test. You have to be willing to measure response. You have to be willing to see if what you're theorizing is actually true. And also watch and observe them, because they do so much research about what works and what doesn't work. Now, some of the internet marketers are doing this stuff for all good, for furthering businesses and for growing and building and adding to the community. Some people are but either way, that's what they're doing. And so I think that, for a couple of things, I want to share what I've learned. I want to give people some starting points to really think about and consider and to take action on in your own business. And, and for further expansion, this is the type of stuff we talk about in the Coach's Corner, which is a Facebook group. So if you want to know more and learn more, and maybe I'm thinking about creating something just for the people who are on this Blab and who watch it, that will go into the Coach's Corner. You can join that Facebook group as well, which I have to find the link and put it in there. But and welcome to everybody coming in. But let me start with this. When you are looking at what you have in front of you, and you're saying, okay, I need to add to my clientele. I need to increase my income. I need to make more money. And I have all of these people that are in my universe. You really want to take a minute to assess whether or not these people in your universe are truly your clientele. Are these your clientele? Or, like if I look at my Facebook page alone, I'm a big Facebook person. I have like 3,500 friends. So once in a while I scroll through, I'm like, who's in my friend list? Who are these people? And there's a lot of people I'm like, I've never seen them come across my news feed. I don't know these people. I don't, they're just, when I was on, beginning of Facebook, it was like, you're a friend and you're a friend and you're a friend and you're a friend. Very Oprah-like. I was adding these people to my universe, but that doesn't necessarily mean I was engaging clientele. And not that was the purpose anyway, but oftentimes we collect a lot of people into our social media sphere, and they're not necessarily we're doing business with. They might be partners, colleagues. They might become very best friends. They might be just people that admire us. They might be loyal lurkers who just love to watch what we do, but they really have no intention to do anything. Then they could be people who are clients. So when you think about, how do you turn all of these folks into into clients, you have to think about, that's what I was saying about the reverse engineering. And this is what internet marketers do really well, is they reverse engineer. You have to think about what's your end point. What's the goal? So if I want somebody to eventually become a client, I have to build a pathway to allowing access to my work and to allowing me to build that credibility. Like Jay said, he said earlier that, like some of the things that he's learned about marketing online is that there's a trust factor that has to be developed. People want to do business. We're going to say this all the time. Know, like, and trust. But the trust is deeper than the trust that we're used to. Now you're putting the barrier of, I don't even know if you're a real person. Like, I know you portray yourself to be, but is that truly who you are? So you've got to be able to create this, I am who I am. Not create it, but be it and show it, right? And you also have to be able to demonstrate. The know part is people have to feel like they know you, but they also have to feel like they know that you know what you say you know. And that
authenticity.
Yeah, complete authenticity, transparency, but also ability. That credibility has to come from you have the ability to do what you think you're going to do. Because there's a lot of people out there, right?
Good point. Good point.
There's a lot of people out there who are like, oh yeah, I can do this. And then you get closer to them and you're like, you said you could. That's what they not, you know? So I think it's really important for you to think about what you offer, who you offer it to, and are you really believing in yourself that you can do what you say you can do? You can demonstrate it to others. Because in this day and age, with online especially, you have to be willing and able to demonstrate it. You know, and that's the beauty of the online world, is that you get that opportunity. And it's also the detriment of the online world because you are in a pool of major comparison. There's a lot of noise out there. There's a lot of clamoring for space, attention, the look at me. So you have to be very prepared to stake your place of real estate and be willing and prepared to own it. And you got to own it like nobody's business. All right, let me pause and say hi to everybody who's coming in the room. Hello. I can't quickly as I want. Hello, Elizabeth. She came back. Hi, Chris again. So that's the first step is, really you've got to get clear as to your objectives and who you are and what you're trying to accomplish. Right. So whenever you're doing anything, and say, I've been watching a lot of times I get pissed off. I get pissed
you
off. Oh my gosh, I go off all the time, right there. So I get pissed off because
that's fine.
What seems simple is not necessarily as simple as what people make it seem, right? So there's a lot of, all you have to do is just do a webinar campaign. Or just throw up a Facebook ad, or just do a Facebook group, and the riches will come. But here's some of the things that people aren't considering when you are selling online versus offline. Online, people don't know who you are until you allow them to know who you are, until you make a point of letting them know who you are. Hello, Sam. And so some of that takes a skill set of self-promotion. And that's self-promotion, right? So that self-promotion online means that the skill sets you have to have are being willing to be extremely visible. And that visibility is going to come from that ability to write well, speak well. So be willing to put yourself in cameras and pictures, be seen, and to make yourself visible. So you have to create around that with that in mind.
Right. Can I interject one thing too? If you come from kind of a modest perspective, you're not really an egomaniac, or you're not into just all that, I'm better than everybody else kind of an attitude. That's a very difficult thing to start doing. It's difficult. Self-promoting is not difficult, but mentally it's hard to get into that space because you feel like you're like projecting yourself over the top. And your audience may feel like you're barely kind of coming out of your shell. Yeah.
So in that.
So there's a perception issue that happens there that can be a real problem.
That's such a great point. It's like social media can be, for all intents and purposes, it can be the greatest space for those who are more humble, for those who consider themselves even introverted. It can be that place where they get to, I get to be me without having to feel like the whole world is on me. However, you bring up a great point. If you are not as comfortable as bragging on yourself, that's a turning point. It's definitely a turning point, and it's something that it comes with conviction. The more convicted you are, and here's a couple of things. Earlier today, I talked about the why. It's like, if I don't share this, and one of my whys is to help as many people as I possibly can build their businesses and grow their own economies and become profitable. Well, if I keep playing as a secret, how many people am I really helping? And if you put it in that terms of, I can't really help people if they don't know I exist, then that sometimes will give you permission to step outside of your comfort zone. And I never expect anybody to like 1 minute, nobody knows who I am, to look at me, I'm on Blab 24 hours a day and I'm writing and blogging and blah, 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 blah. You have to use your skill set and your gift and whatever works best for you. Because when you are building credibility and trust and recognition, you should be doing it from a space of complete comfort in your abilities. So if you're a person you're a video guy, you talk video, you like being on Blab, some of the best things you can do is stay in front of that video, right? This is what you do, so those who should write often, and then just learn the mechanics of where do I put my writing. Those who like to speak should be speaking. Those who like to, tweet really well, like Sam, although Sam does a great job of speaking too, but, using her tweeting skills and demonstrating, that demonstration of what you know and how you know it goes a long way. I love my Coach Karen. Coach Karen with a C, she is so great. She's like, she props me up all the time. She is the queen of prop. You want a Coach Karen on your Blab. She is a queen of prop. Love you, girl. So Elizabeth says you have to push past the fear and do it anyway. Yeah, sometimes you do. You just have to. You have to suck it up, right, and get out there. But at the same time, if you do it in a way that feels most natural, it won't be as painful, in the long runs. And when I hear that, I also hear that that's a conviction question. That's the, who am I? Am I enough? Am I enough? Are people going to find out I'm fraud? So that's really like the little gremlins in your mind that start kicking.
Right.
Come on, Janet. Hi, I don't know you, Janet. If you could just drop a little. Not sure who you are, so give me a little bit of who you are, and then I can pop you in the chair. And this is open, so I'm going to riff a little, and then I'm going to ask people to step in and ask your experiences and see if I can help you out too as you're trying to grow and build your business. So first of all, first step, start with your end in mind. Think about, what it is that you, okay. All right, Janet, so just give me a few minutes, okay? What it is that you're trying to accomplish with your social media. Now, that is under the belief that you know who your audience is and you know what you're offering. You should be very, very clear about those two things, because that's also going to dictate where you're going to spend the most time. If you are, Sam is a great example. She doesn't mind me using her as an example, but she's the tweeting goddess, right? She should be doing all platforms that are Twitter related. And any of her audience that is going to benefit the most, being very specific about which audience of all the audiences that are going to benefit the most, who's going to benefit the most using Twitter? How do I get in front of them? How do I get more of them? How do I share what I know so that I can help them? And then using those platforms that are going to support her in doing that. Now, she's already demonstrating on Twitter her expertise. And now creating that, okay, what is that she wants? Does she want to grow an additional following in a new area? Does she want to add clients that are going to pay for her services? What, how is she going to get them from there's Sam over there, and she's the tweeting goddess, to there's Sam over there, and now I'm sitting down and talking to her about paying for her services. What types of services does she want them to pay for? One-on-one coaching and consulting? Is it programs that she wants to sell? What is it that she ultimately wants them to buy? Now, here's the mistake most people make. Say I want, say it's a one-on-one client that you want, okay? She is Anna. She is a fabulous expert on Twitter. Say it's a one-on-one client that you want. What people try to do is they try to rush the relationship from we're just meeting to hire me, okay? And that's not necessarily how you do. That's not how you do it, because there is that they need to figure out who you are, how you help, what you do. The best you do, if I actually want somebody to sit down and do a one-on-one consultation, and I'm just meeting you on, here on Blab today, well, I want to get you from Blab into my world. Because we might keep showing up on Blab, we might keep showing up on Blab, we might keep showing up on Blab. Right. Unless I extend an invitation to come into my space, that you'll never go anywhere from there, right? So you have to pick a space. What space is going to make the most sense? Now, if you want people to come into your email space, well, what's usually is what can you offer them to want to opt into your email space? That makes sense, has to be congruent to what it is that you do. Would you agree, Jay?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Coach Laura, she said she just did that.
And I was thinking too that this is completely different than freelancing, where somebody needs help with their WordPress site, or they need help with their video setup, or whatever they need help with. They know that they need that, and they need to get that done and crossed off the to-do list today, as opposed to consulting services, which are more long, probably more long-term, that type of a thing. So it's a different process.
Yeah. And you have to come from a place of, okay, I want to help, I want to help them specifically get what they need quickly. And know that I know what I'm doing, and I know I can help them. And I want to help. I don't want you hanging around waiting for help.
Right.
Then that's not about you. That's about me. Oh, exactly. Oh, great. But if I have something to offer you, then let me go ahead and give that. Because truth be told, a lot of the information we have, people can find it on the web.
Well, sure.
Right.
Most everything that it's available on the web somewhere.
Right.
Depending on what the topic is.
Exactly. Right. They can find it on the web. So how helpful can you be by shortcutting that process? How helpful can you be by being specific about what it is that they need to look at versus what it is they don't need to look at? Right. And so helping them stay focused and helping them get the results that they're looking for. That's another key point. Whatever you're offering should be in line with the results that they're looking to achieve for themselves. And Avalora, if you want to jump in, you're about to get some lunch. All right, because you want to jump in. She said she just did this on Periscope. And so I want to hear specifically what she did. But nice. You have to, so going back to that, it's offering something that's going to be helpful to them, that's going to be in line with the results that they want. And if you know your audience, you should know exactly what those are. And it should be in line with the work that you do. And it should also be something that is going to help them come into your space. So whether that space is your email list or Facebook group, I'm going to recommend your email list, because your email list is your email list, right? It's the space where you still get to engage and to share your ideas and give away items and give them more information and have them experience you fully. Right. Now, when you go into something like a Facebook group, you can still do that to some degree, but the group becomes bigger and bigger, and hopefully your community is now doing what they do best, and you're engaging people in that way. You're more of like a leader in there, not necessarily the person that's the main resource, unless you keep driving that way. But the thing about it is, if Facebook were to close down tomorrow and you have all your people in Facebook, bye-bye.
You're kind of sunk.
And you've got nothing beyond Facebook as far as contact. Right? And so you're working extra hard. So people dump people into their Facebook groups. Then that's still how you get into your email list. Because there's where you can extend the most fruitful parts of your work. Now, you can make offers anywhere. But if you're thinking, especially in a one-on-one mindset, if you really want to talk to that one-on-one, and I'm talking about if you're getting one-on-one clients, you want to think about that vein of one-on-one. So I'm talking to you. You're in my inbox. Hi, Jay. It's me, Karen. How's it going today? I'm thinking about you. This is what I'm offering. Da, da, da. And it's not an offer a day, but you shouldn't be scared to make offers. Hello, my love.
Hello, how are you? I'm getting used to this pop-up that says, do you want to invite your followers? I'm like, what is that?
Yes, that's new. Go ahead and click on it. You let people know where you are.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, okay, sure. All these new things on Blab.
I know. It's really cool.
It is cool. I don't know how much. Why is it different than what was happening before? Weren't they getting notified?
No, not necessarily. You would jump in a seat and nobody would know you were there.
Right.
I thought they did get notified. Right. Okay, I get notified when people jump in seats.
Yeah, if you told a little bird, then they saw it because you told a little bird and your name's added.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can go ahead and do it. So, and don't forget to tell birds.
Oh, I'm not the only one that wondered that. Okay, Jeremy said the same thing. Okay, cool. It's not just me.
All right, come on in. Hello.
Hey, how are you doing? Hey, Jen. Nice to put a name.
Hi, Mimika. How are you?
I'm good, and you? Hi, lovely
Good.
ladies. I'm so glad to be able to meet some new faces. I know Jay from a Facebook group, but this conversation sounds very interesting.
It's a fun conversation. Well, I wanted, we're talking about, we all collect all of these followers, likes, friends, fans. And a lot of people, it breaks my heart when I talk to people and they're like, I have 50,000 Twitter followers and I'm not making any money.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, why? Why is that? And so at some point, you have all these people, but there are certain considerations that you need to take. And so I'm sharing some of those considerations, sharing some of the strategies. And I know all of you ladies and gentlemen, Jay, can add to those. But sharing, how do you turn these people that have been following you, maybe they've been loyal, lurking you for a while, they've been engaging with you, how can you turn them into clients? How do you grow your business?
Yeah, well, I think it always comes down to the word value, right? Like, what value proposition do we have for them? I mean, just to have likes and Facebook likes and followers is great. I mean, but at the end of the day, we're in this for business, right? We need to be able to create those relationships and take them deeper. So for me, I'm all about going deeper rather than wider. And recently I, cleaned up some of my email list because I felt like there was a lot of people that just, they weren't resonating with what I had to say. And it's all well having those likes, but at the end of the day, if it doesn't convert, what's the point, right? It's like spending money on advertising that doesn't bring you any business back. So I think if we can think of what it is that I have to offer someone else, and it might not be, you might only be 2 steps ahead of someone else in their journey. So whether it's like, as a coach, if you're helping them through something, you can show them the value and why that is. Because, and I had this conversation on another blab yesterday. If people really have a problem, they will find the money for it. It's never about the money. Because if we say, oh, you're too expensive, we haven't really shown them why they need to do business with us. Like, why should I park with my cash? Like, if I've got a problem, and I know I really need help, it's going to cost me money not to work with a coach or a mentor to help me get over this period, because I could either spend another 6 to 12 months messing around, like say as an example, email funnels. I could be spending all this time driving Facebook ads to get people to sign up for my list. If I don't have the funnel right, I'm literally just like pouring money down the drain. And so for me now, I'm like, okay, I need someone who knows their stuff. Who can I work with who will fast track me to the next stage? And I'm sure you'd agree. Sometimes it's about timing, right? It's not always about whether they want it right now. So I think if we can just keep showing up and offering value, that's when people eventually will say, okay, hey, I need your help.
Yeah. And that, yes, and it's showing the value, but being also comfortable with extending the offers when they're appropriate. And that's part of like when you are creating a sales funnel, there are times in that funnel where you have now earned the right to extend the invitation to your offer. And there's times when it's too soon. There's times when you have taken people completely off track and they can't figure out how to work with you or why they should work with you.
Right.
So it's knowing when you're creating your sales funnel, where do I ultimately want them to go? And what do they need to know in order to get to that place where I want them to go? What's going to build upon piece by piece by piece so that they're not just, hanging on, waiting, so that they're like excited about your offers. And I think a lot of times people are either they're blocking themselves because they're not giving enough information yet. So they haven't proven their value yet, or they are trying, they're blocking it because they're not necessarily necessarily making it like a logical step.
Mm-hmm.
It's not logical, you know, so they can't follow it and they get confused.
Kind of like,
what are they doing? And they stop.
the end in mind. Like we don't have the end in mind. Like what do we actually want them to do? And I made this mistake myself. I'm like, I could kick myself thinking I did a launch recently, and I was like, okay, I didn't quite think of this through. I was like so excited just to get this stuff out there that I really didn't think about the process. Like, okay, where do I eventually actually want them to end up? That I think if we could kind of look at it backwards, like, okay, if we want them to get this, what step do they need to take before that? And it's kind of like the saying, business is dating. You know, you wouldn't go up to a cute girl or a guy in the bar and go, hey, honey, you want to get married? It's like, who are you? You're creepy. So we want to like be a little bit more friendly, but not that friendly. So yeah, I think it's a process.
Yes,
very much. And there's
a
lot of similarities between online dating and online marketing. Trust me.
Yeah.
I should write a book.
You should write a book about that because I think you've met somebody that way.
Yeah.
Talk about that. Well, Avalara, you said that you were just on Periscope and you moved people from Periscope into your world. So you care to share a little bit about what happened and how you did it? Is she unmuted?
Oh, I think she froze.
Frozen, no way.
I think it's locked. I think she's locked up.
No.
Oh no, it's an internet connection. Oh dear.
Yeah.
Okay, so
if she exits out and comes back in again, I think she could refresh. That should work.
Yeah.
Right. There we go.
Yep, Excel, refresh.
Perfect. So yes, so this is exciting stuff. It's definitely like, you know, the whole adage, business isn't personal, baby. I'm sorry, business is personal. People do business with you if they know, like, and trust you. And we just really need to get down to brass nuts, right? We in every click, every like, every person on behind a Twitter feed or an account is a person. So we just need to be more likable. And I don't know about you, I'm sure you would agree too that we just got to be more authentic. Like, this is who I am, and this is what I love to do. And if we have a good connection, then, you know, you can then move the process along. It's just like any relationship.
You know, and here's something that I find that people fail to remember, and it's not a bad thing. It's just business moves so fast on the internet, and we forget that we do a lot of changing things, and that people aren't necessarily up to date as to what we have going on. We have to constantly remind people, this is what I do, this is who I do it for, this is how I do it. So if this applies to you, great, these things to offer. If this doesn't apply to you, but you know somebody this applies to, please share this as a resource. And if this is nothing that you want ever, please feel free to unsubscribe. We've got to tell people what we want them to do, how we want them to do it, when we want them to do it, so that they're informed. Because like I said earlier, so much noise, so much going on that we have to be able to, you know, speak up and let people know what's up. So Avalara, are you good now?
I think so. Can you see me? You can hear me?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, so what I was saying is I just did on Periscope, I do a midweek meditation every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern. And so literally I just did that before I came on to this. And I did exactly what you were talking about, did the meditation. Everybody had their wow moment. Oh my God, I feel so good. I can't believe in only 10 minutes, I feel so freaking amazing. And I invited them to get on my mailing list, of course, to follow me, all that stuff, to, you know, keep checking in, invite their followers, all of that. And it definitely does work after they have that experience. I didn't do that, of course, beforehand, but after they had the experience. And what I do with the meditation, I ask them to evaluate their stress level. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how stressed out do you feel? You know, 1, you know, you're calm, collected. 10, 911, Avalara, I need your help. And this is exactly what I say. And they tell me where their stress level is. And then after the meditation, we reevaluate. And of course, everyone afterwards, their stress levels go down. So they can already see that this works. So after that, then I say, hey, you know, if you want to get more tips and tricks, you want to learn more about me, you want more simple things like this that you can do on a day-to-day basis, join my mailing list.
Right.
And it works.
Right. Because
but here's what's interesting that I have found. because I don't always remember to do that. I'll be honest. There's sometimes where I completely forget because I'm so into what I'm doing, I'll forget. But what I have found is that when people want to work with you, it doesn't matter. They'll find you. I'm all over the internet. I'm not hard to find. So they will find me. And, just from being on Blab yesterday, I had a consultation this morning from somebody who she reached out to me on Twitter and, wanted to work with me. So, nice. And I didn't say anything about how to work with me. She DM'd me on Twitter. Exactly. So people will find you.
Mm-hmm. And it's often not about the product. Cool. I think it's not necessarily about the product. It's about the person. It's like, I always liken business to like we watch a reality show, like say The Voice. What can you say without people having to see you first that's going to make their ears perk up? They're going to be like, oh, I like what she or he has to say. Then it's kind of like, then they start to hear the story. And oftentimes, like from a lot of these shows, like I'm a big So You Think You Can Dance fan. I just love the show. But often finds it's not necessarily the most talented dancer that wins. It's the ones that resonates, that has the best story. So oftentimes it's like, do you have an experience that I can relate to? That you get me, right? So if you get me, then let's do business together. And people do business with people they know, like, and trust. And I'm finding this myself. I've had to learn this the hard way. Is being more vulnerable actually works. Like showing my mess ups, showing my mistakes, saying, listen, I don't have it all together. Like for me, I feel so terrible. Like I haven't done a Periscope in 2 weeks because my phone was on the fritz. But I have a new iPhone. I'm like so excited. But all the things that I've learned the hard way. I find now when I start to share my story and even the stuff that I messed up with, people are like, that's so me. That's great. Let's, start the conversation. So that's been the most effective.
Yeah. So people want to know that even though you know what they want to know, that you're real, that you care, that you can understand, that you can be compassionate. We all want to be a part of something, and we want to connect to people in the most authentic way possible. And, when it comes to people investing with us, like taking their hard-earned money and handing it over, they've got to feel that you're going to help me achieve what it is that I really want to achieve, and that you care that I actually get what I am trying to achieve. And, so whenever you are presenting whatever you have to present, that has to be something that you're speaking to. You have to be speaking to that fact that you care about their outcomes. And I think lots of times people are so, people do get to that desperate space of, I want to believe that there are people that can manipulate that, and to be a great marketer online, you have to be a great copywriter. You have to be a great communicator and use it for good. Then your business will grow great. There's a lot of people who don't necessarily use it for good. So that's up to the consumer to be very discerning. But if you are always being who you are and coming from the place that you believe that that you believe in the good of what you do, and you're trying to help in the way that you know that you can, you've got nothing to worry about. You just have to be more strategic.
Right.
Strategic about allowing people to experience what you did. And I know Avalara, she jumped off. I don't know if it was her connection, and the seat is now open so people can jump in. But I want to speak to what she did in Art Regeneration, obviously. I don't know your first name, but perfect example. That it was an experience. She said she does her meditation, and she actually took people through the experience. But what she did extremely well, and this is where the communication comes in, she specifically spoke to what they should be experiencing. And she showed them, and she used language that was authentic to them, understandable to them, translated well. Who doesn't know 911, right? 911 means an emergency. She used language that was relatable, that was something that they could say, oh, okay, I totally get what she's saying without having to define. And I think lots of times we keep that barrier up when we use words that are, or concepts that are only for us and not for them. You should always be presenting from a place of, this is for their understanding, for their benefit.
It's almost like we want to get into their heads, right? And I think this is why I love the idea that business is personal, because we want to get into the conversation that people have with their head. Like if they're having a problem, they might not say it, but if you can position yourself and just provide them with the solution to their problem, like, oh, she so gets me. How did she know I was thinking that? I didn't know that. She must have known this is the problem that I have. And it's actually really making it resonate with them because it's using the words. And we're so over this whole, like, I know my English teacher would freak out if she saw the kind of language that I use on my sales copy, but that's how we are, right? Yeah. We speak conversationally, so we can make it more genuine, and like you and I are talking now, like, this is how we talk. This is how you want to connect with people without it being too, this whole facade. Yeah. I think the whole days of trying to be perfect and trying to have everything just totally awesome, people don't believe that anymore.
Right. Mimica, that's a huge pet peeve of mine, because I have a background in local television sales, and people would create the concept for the ad, especially if it was like a talking head thing, and the verbiage that they would use is not at all who they are in their regular everyday life. It's like, who are you trying to fool? You never use that word in real life. Why would you add it in your copy? Just be yourself.
Exactly.
It's
like, we get all stiff, like, now for the news today.
Right.
We are going to teach you how. It's like,
yeah.
If I wanted to watch the news, I would turn to the news, but I don't watch the news because I want to deal with, help people. And again, I think if we keep that in mind, that we're not here just to sell people something. We're here to create a genuine connection. We're here to provide them with value that helps them along their journey. Okay, no one's going to anoint us and say, you are now finally fairy godmother said I'm an expert and I can now have a permission to provide you with this help. And I think that's a lot of us coaches, is sometimes we have that, well, are they going to want to invest in me? I mean, maybe do I know enough? But if we can get over ourselves and say, listen, I might only be 2 or even 1 step ahead of where you are right now, but I can help you through this.
Mm-hmm.
Do this together. I think, and I'm for this, and we were talking about this in another blab we had earlier, is 1,000 true fans. We want to go deeper instead of wider. I think the days of, like you said in the beginning, 30,000 Twitter fans or likes, I don't really think that matters anymore. It's more about the quality of the fans.
Well,
who are they?
It never mattered. That's the problem. It never mattered, with the exception of it provided social proof.
Yeah.
So if it does that and it gets you over that hump, that's one thing. But if it's a fake facade, it's actually detrimental to your business, because people, when they figure that out, that basically, you went to Fiverr and bought likes or whatever else, it's like, no, I'm not going there.
Yeah.
So it's not a good
No, in this day and age, you can have 50,000 followers, like I said. But if you're calling yourself in business, well, then you're just proving you're not really in business. You're just proving that you do a great job of creating a buzz, but the job is not to just create a buzz. The job is to create a business, and business is about service of others. So you are really in service when you are creating, income from the work that you do, because that means that you are doing something. You are helping other people. So you've got to keep that in mind. Business is about them. It's not about you.
And the idea that, Mimica, you hit it too, as far as, being a couple steps ahead of somebody else that you're working with, that you're helping. I, for the longest time, just could not wrap my head around that concept. I thought that you had to be like mountains ahead of everybody else in order to go there, right? And that's not true. And there's a little story that really illustrates this. The starfish story, Mimica, have you heard the starfish story? Okay.
Guys,
so that,
I thought someone else was going to come
to the beach. He's throwing starfish into the little boy comes up to him and says, "Why are you doing this? Why are you wasting your time? Look at all these starfish. You'll never make an impact." And he picks another one up and he throws it in. He says, "It made a difference to that one." That's exactly what you guys are referring to.
Yeah, one person at a time. It's real people, and there's no quick fix. If you're in business just for the money, I'm sorry, you're going to soon learn that it's a very lonely road, because that's really not the main focus. Okay, we do need to make money. That's a given. But I think if we change our mindset, I'm not going to hear myself in stereos. If we just change our mindset, and also this is another thing I think we should talk about, is the F word, focus. We need to focus. And I have the same problem, like, squirrel. We got, Twitter, and now we got Periscope, and now we got Blab. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like about to drive myself, I'm about to go crazy. Like, which one do I do first? And again, I've learned this the hard way. If I don't focus on something and test it and get some idea of, is this really where I want to be? Like now, Blab, this is week 2 of my 30-day test to really see, is this going to help me connect with the people that really get me? And so far, I'm loving it, because it's real life, real time conversation. It's with real people. It's not just another Facebook ad I might have thrown out, or just another random tweet, or, there's a personality behind it.
Right.
And I think if we start being more genuine and being prepared to put ourselves in front of camera, and I know, Jay, you'll agree with me, we're both video experts in the space in terms of helping people get over that sort of confidence and fear of putting yourself out there. But I tell you, it's just by taking the first step and just make those connections.
It is. It's being that, it is that willingness. And you said it so well before, that willingness to get in front of your audience. And it's not getting in front of your audience, just one day, just like pop up and like, hi, I'm here. Here's what happens. Let's look at the real life experience of somebody. If this was real life, if we took ourselves offline, and we were conducting business the way that we're doing it offline, as we do online, when we're not putting our offers out there, this is what it looks like. Okay, I'm going to the networking event today, and it's Monday. 2 months later, I'm going to the networking event today. I hope they remember me. That's what happens in real life. It is, it's kind of like dog years for all intents and purposes. Any day that you're not online is like a day that you don't exist. And so if your audience has so many different people that they can pay attention to, that if you're going to be somebody that they can get some answers from, you've got to show up where they are, and you've got to be prominent, and you've got to be front and center, and you've got to get over the fact that you're not being intrusive. You're not being intrusive. You're being helpful. You're being there of service. So if you're willing to do that, and you're willing to show up, and you're willing to give information and show them why you should be trusted, why you know what you know, then it becomes a no-brainer. But you do have to have a strategy and tools behind it. It's not just going to be, I'm just going to keep sitting here and one day maybe they'll pay me. Now that does happen every once in a while. You'll have somebody who's like, I've been watching you for a long time, and now just seems like, the time that I need you and want you. But sometimes you have to be willing to anticipate their needs before they even recognize that, the timing might be right for them right now, and they just don't even know it. And so that's where the offers come in. And so you've got to be mindful of right now is a good time for an offer, or why. So looking at, what are your long-term goals? What are your short-term goals? What do you want to accomplish by the end of this month? What do here's October 1st. Where do you want to be by October 31st in your business? How much money do you make? How many clients do you want to take on? What programs do you want to launch? Where do you want to be by the end of November? Where do you want to be by the end of the year? How do you want to set up for next year? Being mindful of, this is what I'm going into. I have a coach who she had a plan that every year she drove business into one main event, and everything else supported that event. So she had one huge event every year, but all throughout the year, every piece of work she did drove into that event. Well, you've got to look at your business. Maybe you do have plans of, one day I want to launch a multi-week program. How much time do I really need for that? Some people are like, I'm just going to launch that next week. But if you don't have engaged followers, if you don't have people who have shown that they're interested already in what you do, you can do all the Facebook ads, and you might even get some buyers, but will you keep them? Are they going to stay with you? Are they going to stick with you? Or is this going to be something that you can repeat? And if you really want that loyalty and that following, you start planning for it rather than hoping, praying, and spraying your tactics and your strategies. Because I see a lot of that happening.
Yeah,
and,
hoping, wishing, praying. Not
and honey, let me tell you, I've been there. I've done that. I got burned by it.
Exactly. So here's a challenge I think all of us can take is, and this is something I'm doing myself, is often, having the focus to know what to do. Take it in 30-day chunks. Like this month, I'm going to try Blab for 30 days. Then the next month, like say, if you haven't started with Periscope, maybe try that for 30 days. Or if you've been ignoring Twitter and doesn't really think that works for you, and after 90 days, because I think, for us coaches out there would agree, 90 days is a good way to kind of like leverage, kind of figure out where we're going. Do it with, and try it and see what happens, because you can't just do once, like show up at one event and expect the phone to be running off the hook, right? We've got to keep that consistency. So here's a challenge we all can do for the next 30 days. What are we going to do until October 31st? That's really going to help us move the needle, even if it's one thing, like what are you focusing on?
The only for that challenge.
Actually, I want to say the only problem with that is what I have found. Consistency is definitely key. Anytime we're talking about marketing, it is so key. You know, what I have found in business is that you don't always know who's watching you. And you don't always know where people are watching you. And so if you try to say, I'm going to do it for this amount of time, and if I don't get the results that I want, I'm going to stop, you could really be missing out on key people who are watching you, who are just on the sidelines, not saying anything at all.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no, we're not saying give it up. We're just saying maybe just kind of focus until you get some result. I didn't mean like you give it up.
Keep going, because sometimes I think that we put that internal pressure on ourselves. Oh, I'm on Periscope every day and nobody's calling me and I'm not getting business, and you know, I don't want to do it. Let me move to Blab and I'll just go on Blab now because I'm not getting anybody on Periscope. And I have just found, you know, I'll just tell you a story. I had a woman who was on my mailing list for 5 years before she ever contacted me. 5 years she was watching me. She was on my mailing list, on my Facebook. Never heard from her. Didn't know who this woman was. And when she was ready, she called me and said, I'm finally ready to work with you. I know more about you than you know about me. And I said, I know nothing about you. So who are you? And she said, and she said, I've been watching you all this time and I'm finally ready for you. So sometimes we have to let that go and just do it and just commit to doing it and just know that, you know, it may take longer than we think it's going to take, but just do it anyway.
Yeah, that's it. And yeah, be willing to stick to it. And also be willing to have those conversations. Because like you said, Avila, we don't know who's watching, but if we don't tell people what we're doing, they don't know. So if it's like, hey guys, now I'm adding, you know, Periscope into my world. Come join me over on Periscope. And I've also discovered Blab. So come follow me on Blab. The call to action piece is so utterly important. And you talked about that earlier, Avila. You know, like you said, come, you know, if this is how you're experiencing this and you need to speak to me, this is how you stay in touch with me. You've got to let people know, how do I come into your world? Right. Speaking of, we're going to be in the Coach's Corner over on Facebook. So make sure you join us there. But keep the convo going. But, you know, if you don't do that, they don't know. They just don't know. We can't just come with the assumption of they'll figure it out. If I just show up and I blab all day and I never say, what's the next step? They can't take a next step. And then this is what's going to happen. They're going to say, well, who else can give me that next step? Because you got me prime. You got me ready. I'm ready to do something. Oh, and you failed me because I can't follow you any further. You threw up a wall. So we've got to be mindful of, they are following.
That's so true.
Yeah, but if we
learned that the hard way. I learned that the hard way. I'm telling you, because in the beginning, you know, I'm one of those coaches, like, if I feel like you're ready, like, if you don't need me anymore, you don't need me anymore. I'm going to tell you. You know, go on, you can do this on your own. I've given you enough tools. And I realized that when I was doing that, I was missing out on business because these people are just samplers. You know, shiny, pretty things. They want more and more and more. So if I wasn't selling something else to them, they were going someplace else. Even though I knew they would be okay, they still felt like they needed more. So I finally said, you know what? I'm just going to have to be that more. So I'm going to let them know everything that I'm doing, and I'm going to find a way to keep them in my circle, not my funnel, but in my circle, because obviously they want more, and I'm not going to have them go someplace else because I didn't offer them more.
Yeah. And I think we cut our, you know, like we shoot ourselves in the foot all the time. And that's also too, when you give away all this information for free and you hope that they'll see the value and that they'll say, you know what, you've been so great about giving me free information. I'm just going to buy from you now. They're not going to do that without the invitation. You have to ask them to work with you. And sometimes I know that there's a fear of asking for the business. But guess what? If you don't ask for it, you don't get it. You don't ask, you don't get. And that's just the honest to goodness truth. But if you also feel like I've come to that point where I know that you know I can help you and you know that I can help you, then we can have a conversation about it. And there's, you know, you shouldn't feel funny about that because you're coming from the best place. Yes, Coach Jenny said you can ask for the business without being a douchebag.
There's some amazing comments on the side.
These are so great. These comments are like so great. And there's one that I don't want to miss. And I do want to go back to, It was my friend who's an author. I don't know if he's still here. Oh, where are you, darling? It was way up in the beginning.
Oh, it was further up. Yeah, in the beginning.
B.
I saw
Lucian
that one too.
Meyer, who's an author, right? And so he's like, okay, I'm an author. I'm giving away a lot of free information. So how is it that I actually end up, so here's the thing. Are you trying to sell your books? Are you trying to position yourself as an authority? Are you, so if it's just book sales, then I need to know that. If it's, I want to be a speaker or I want to be highly regarded, the purpose of your selling and the purpose of your giving away has to lend to your business. So in what ways do you feel that they're going to lend to your business? Because if it's just selling books, then your goal is to, I would say that you want to give snippets of material rather than free whole books. You can do contests that you do give away books to get engagement in your audience. If you want to, and then you always need to ask them to come buy the book. There's who did it? Oh gosh, there's a guy, Ryan Levesque, did this great book called Ask. Okay.
Yes. Oh, awesome! I'm busy reading it.
Great book. But his funnel for that book was amazing because before he ever sold the book, he was giving away free copies where people would just have to pay for the postage. Mm-hmm. And during that time that, once you got on that, and I think I first found it through like a Facebook ad. I will say that I found it through a Facebook ad, but he obviously knew his audience really well because he hardly targeted, somebody like me and UC Mimica. We're both like, yeah, we bought it. So he engaged us through that. And once we were in the, yes, I want the free book. And yes, here's my shipping. He kept a series of emails going where we got to get more information about him, information about the work he does, information about the findings, about the case studies. Case studies are huge, people. If you have case studies, they are huge about how about the work that you've done that's changed the lives of others. Your emails should always have case studies somewhere in there. All right. Then he invited people into a Facebook group. Now, this is all before I ever got the book. All before we ever got the book. By the time we got the book, I felt like I love this man. I love this man. I will follow him wherever he goes, whatever he does, whatever he wants to do. And then after engaging in the Facebook group, which was highly engaging, now he's still got me on his list. He's now proven to me that he knows what he knows, what he knows. He's demonstrating all the information. Well, he also has a mastermind group. Now, I didn't join his mastermind, but he had a free trial in the mastermind for a minute. And then then you could upgrade and be a part of the mastermind all the time. Wow. Now, that is value upon value, but all the time, he was also earning my trust. And it wasn't manipulating, or he was giving me, like, the information that I received was like, this is helpful information I can use right now. And lots of times, that's what I think we forget too. You want to make sure that it's applicable information. It's information that's not just it's not a nice to know, it's need to know. And I can use it too. Because when it's need to know and I can apply it, then that information makes it easier for a person to say, wow, you helped me. And if you can help me with this, you can help me with the next thing.
Right.
And I know you can help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, give them something to buy. And I think that's the thing is we forget, we're so used to the massaging the relationship, and here's my free, here's my free. And I know I suffer from the same problem. I find it hard to ask for the sale because we feel the word selling is so cheesy and so slimy. It's like, would you like to buy my thing? But we have to do it. We have to sort of move them along. And as you mentioned, I mean, people are actually primed to buy. Like when you've got them warmed up, they're like, okay, how can I give you money? If we don't have a way for them to do that, I think we have to be clear. So, yeah, some great content.
If you don't sell them, someone else will.
Exactly.
No, all that work, and somebody else will reap the reward.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know how many people in my own experience, how many people I got ready for other coaches because I stopped short of selling, right? I stopped short of asking for permission to work with them. And sales is not a dirty word. Y'all get to know me at all. I'm going to tell you, sales is a blessing. Sales is a blessing because what you're doing is you're helping somebody make a decision that's going to benefit them. You have to help that person otherwise they are left in limbo, always wondering, should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do this? And until you allow them to make that commitment to themselves and make a decision that's going to push them in the direction that they need to go,
right?
They are stuck in limbo, and you're not doing anybody service that way.
Well, a lot of people don't know what they need.
I have no idea.
It's like, Henry Ford said in the day, if you asked people what they wanted, they would have wanted faster horses. They didn't know that they needed an automobile.
Great point.
And Steve Jobs said the same thing. It's like people don't know what they want until you show them. So unless you show them, provide them with the solution, they're like, I never thought about that. Oh, that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
So I want to do something. I want to give a one-on-one consultation funnel that I know works. Does anybody want it? You have to drop one if you want the consultation funnel, drop one. I'm gonna walk through it.
Okay.
I got one. I got another one.
There you go.
Let me see. Let me get 10 ones. 10 ones. Look at it.
Coach has a really good question over here too.
Okay. Let's answer the questions.
Oh, yeah, we got Sarah and Lindsay. Ooh, yeah, we got some of my friends here too.
Awesome.
That's
okay,
awesome,
so I
ladies.
will speak to the question, and then I'm going to drop this funnel for you. Okay. All right. So, question: many coaches have premium, high-end services, and then a handful of free services with little or nothing in between. What do each of you offer at the no-brainer pricing level? That's good. What do you? I offer a one-time consult, which will be, this is what's going to get you going, but it's got to be, I only offer that to people that I'm like, I feel that I'm giving you a tweak and adjustment in good direction that I know that you can carry on. But if I don't see that, then I can't offer that. But that's my no-brainer.
I'm thinking that if she means something in between the premium, that maybe some people can't afford. I don't know. I hear an echo or something like I have seen some people do like, I'll do a one-time session with you for $100 or $97 or something like that, which I guess for some people would be a no-brainer. Like, oh yeah, I'll absolutely do that. I'm thinking maybe she needs something like that. Okay, yeah, something paid like $7 to $150. Yeah.
Right. So that's beyond
something like a $49 or something. Okay, something like a $49 to like maybe a $97. So it's under $100, but it kind of allows people to get their feet wet. So like I do online courses. Like I have a Periscope course, I have a Glad course, because my bigger course is what I call Confident Video, but it's a bigger piece where it takes you through a longer process. But then on my coaching side is I do like 15-minute strategy calls. So again, it's like getting their toe wet, letting them get a little bit of a taster. Like, do they know you? Do they like you? Would they want to work further? Then they'll maybe buy something. Say for authors, you could maybe provide like a free chapter to your book as a taster. And then, you could provide a package of, they get the book and they get a strategy call maybe. Like, how can we add value? Because I hate discounting. I don't like to say, here's my stuff, I'm going to discount it and give it to you. And free means free, right? But if we can sort of package it and show value that you get this, but if you buy this, you actually get a lot more value.
Yeah.
Right.
Little cost, cost-effective offerings.
Because I think most of us do like a initial 15, 20-minute, 30-minute call or something like that. I think most coaches do that. I also have online trainings as well. So I have ebooks, $5. Yeah. And I also have like a $97 confidence building course, which is a 6-week course. So I have that as well. So I definitely get some people who want to work with me and they can't necessarily do the premium coaching, but then they can do something like that. And then I have another home study course that's like $397. So. Okay.
Yeah. So the session I was talking about is not a free session. It's actually a paid session.
Okay.
So you can have a free consult, but then from there I can offer you a paid session. Yep. Gotcha. So, okay. There's another question. And then I saw somebody put a question. Okay. Deb Mitchell, can you guys address how to figure out how to bridge from going from done for you service model, we actually do stuff for clients, to offering something through a funnel where people can buy something, getting passive income? How do I figure out what to share with the world? So Deb Mitchell,
courses.
Yes, I would say courses. And actually, if she wants to jump in a seat, I would love to talk to her a little bit more, because I'd need more information than that, because it's not sure what you sell. And, so if you want to get in the seat, just let me know. And then
I will give up my seat because I need to eat.
Thank you, Mama.
Let me go do that.
Okay. Stay in the room now.
I'll listen from the sidelines.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Nice. Bye.
Right. And then let's see. I saw another question.
Yeah, I mean, I know courses. I think any provide them with a course, putting down, especially for your coach. I mean, wouldn't you agree, Jay, as well, that you find that when you coach with people, you tend to repeat yourself. You have the same questions pop up again and again. And if you find a lot of repetition, that's a great sign that you could put that into a course model.
I think,
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm not a coach. I'm migrating from my experience with video production, media services, those types of things. And because we live in this place right now where most everybody online needs help with getting their course done. If they're an author, I really can't help them because I'm not a writer. I'm a media person, different tool structure. So I'm helping people try and get their stuff up and going and off the ground with the technical issues and those types of things and overcoming all those things. So it's a whole different thing. So for me, eventually I want to get more into coaching. I'm kind of into the entry-level consulting phase right now, and then eventually I want to get into the passive income, which would be a course, that type of a thing. So,
okay,
that's where I'm at.
And you and I are gonna talk more about that. Hi, Deb. How are you? Thanks so much for jumping in the seat. So, tell us a little bit about what you're currently doing and what you're hoping to do.
Well, can you hear me okay?
Perfectly.
I have new headphones and I'm not so sure
and
they work or not. Oh, thank you. They're pink. Because I'm all about the pink. I own a graphic design and marketing company, and I am sort of transitioning to do more social media stuff. And what I'm finding is like I'm working with a lot of really small businesses that have a budget that stops, and it doesn't really expand. And I'm wanting to go up into the next level. And I think I'm looking to have more recurring income versus project-based income. So, but my thing is
Great.
I'm not, I have a graphic design background. I'm like you, Jay, in the sense that I'm not really a coach per se, and that I could throw together some sort of curriculum and have people sign up and take it from me. However, that's what I actually do with people in real life is I coach, since I work with so many small businesses, I find that I'm coaching them on how to market, and I'm coaching them on how to get a logo and all those kind of things. But I don't know that necessarily translates like into the coaching world that exists today. You know what I mean? So I'm sort of in this really tough spot of like, I don't want to abandon what I think what my gift is. I think my gift is working with people and organizing their information and trying to get them to refine what they're doing. However, I can't do it for myself.
Okay. So can I pause you on that one, Deb?
Yeah.
Because you gave some really great information. So let me ask you this. Ideally, would you like to be a consultant or a coach?
I don't know what the difference is.
Okay. Consultant is you are telling them what to do, how to do it. A coach, you're helping them figure out what to do and how to do it. So you're going a little deeper. You're asking more questions. You're helping them self-direct almost. But as a consultant, you're using your eye and you're saying, this is what you need. This is what you'll do. And this is how you do it.
I think that I have been a consultant all these years. And so, I have like 20 plus years of doing that. And that's what my background is, I would say. But do I want to be a coach? I don't know what I do is necessarily coachable versus somebody needing a consultant.
Okay.
So
yeah, it's a two different plane of thought. And I have the same problem with my business as well. It's not a problem. I designed it on purpose. I have a coaching model and I have a consulting model, and it's a totally different way of thinking with my clients. Like my view was, you start them with something small. So in other words, well, actually, let's put it this way. The bigger thing is if you want to work with me on a consulting basis where I do everything for you, you have a retainer. So I will work and say I'll do your social media, your email funnels, your copywriting. For those people who don't have the time but have a budget, then you can kind of position yourself as a consulting model. So this is a total hands-free, I do everything for you. Then a coaching model would be like, okay, somebody who wants to maybe take the steps for themselves, you can direct them and help them find the strategy to do it. So you give them the tools and then they implement. So again, it's, you got to kind of figure out what it is that your superpower is. Do you prefer to get in there and actually do the work, or would you prefer to kind of create the strategy for them and say, here you go, here's the tools, now you go and implement it? So again, then there's a different price point for both, right? You can, it depends on your needs, but there's a totally different marketing structure with both. And I find my consulting clients are usually more corporates, like more businesses who maybe have a bigger budget, who then who don't have the time to go mess around with Facebook ads. They just say, here's my budget, do it for me. And I'm happy to do that for them.
Yeah.
But they will pay, with someone else. And I think really what it comes down to is who's your ideal client? Because if you know who you're aiming at, everything else falls in place. Do you know who you're speaking to?
Well, yes and no, in the sense that, I live kind of in a small town, and it's it's at a certain level, it's top. There really isn't really great corporate clients around. And so, I'm basically speaking to small business owners, and some of them want to spend the time doing it, and some of them don't want to spend the time doing it. But where I could see branching out is if I could take whatever my secret sauce is and share it with more people, I could have, 1,000 people interested in it versus 10 people interested in it. And I think what I'm trying to do is I actually am trying to bridge to the 1,000 people being interested in it, and versus being so small. And so not niche necessarily, but so.
In other words, you're more local. You're local now, right? You're more local.
Yes.
So you want to
leverage. Okay, so in that, exactly what Mimika is saying is determining, you got to determine the needs of the audience, the wants of the audience, and what your expertise is, right? And so if you're thinking about, it sounds like you said, you don't really have the corporate bandwidth for your area, although you probably do have some, but there is some, right? It's just a lot bigger step. Okay. You know what I mean? And so it's a lot bigger step, and it doesn't sound like the step that you really want to go in. Would that be really? I mean, I have done a lot of corporate stuff because I live in wine country, and so there are a lot of wineries and a lot of big corporations. But it's not really. That's not what I really want to do. I don't think. Okay. So you want to work with the small businesses, right? Yeah, I think so. Okay. Yeah. You think so? I want to work with small businesses that actually have money, though. Because what I'm finding is like, $300 to manage their social media. Oh my gosh, I don't know if I can afford that. And that is, a very common thing that I'm finding. I need the $1,500 social media management type thing. Okay. So this is where I'm completely pulling my hair out over. Yes. Okay. So let me throw one. Because Ross said exactly. Ross Quintana said exactly what the answer is. If you want to, you still can raise your rates, right? And it's the offerings that you offer at different levels will speak to what type of work that you can get from certain people. Because if you go with the mindset of, well, small business owners, they're only going to do $300, that's more of a belief in you than it has to do with the reality. Because there is a small business owner that's sitting there saying, I have $1,500 to pay for quality service. I am willing to pay for quality service if I see that it's quality service. So there's a mindset there on the sales side. Okay. So that's something that you want to get under. You want to work through that first and settle that. And then also too, when it comes to your offerings, now it sounds like you have these different price points. The price points is the more they work with you, the higher the price is. So if they're working with you and you're doing the work, those are your premium offerings. If they're doing the work, then you can have lower price offerings. There's the done for you. I do soup to nuts. That's my highest premium package. And for that, you're going to get graphic design. You're going to get logos. You're going to get branding. You're going to get blah, 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 right? You make this, write down everything that you can do. This is a big tip for everybody here. Write down every single thing that you do and you know that you rock at it. Cross out anything that you hate doing that you don't really want to do, even though you can. That list that you're left with, the stuff that you rock at and you know you rock at, that's your premium offering. That's your whole enchilada. And you price that for what you know it does for the customer. Okay. And what it's, and look at your industry pricing out, but really look at that and say, you know what? I spend this much time. I spent this many years perfecting this. I bring this to the table. That's your whole enchilada. Now look at, okay, what's my lowest price? Now I want them to do it for themselves. So what can I create? Okay. Can I create a tutorial that lets people, maybe it's a 4-video tutorial that helps them figure out how to create their best logo or their brand, or to pick colors, or to think about, like fonts to think about. All that stuff that is in your Noodle, you got to get it out of your Noodle and get it on paper. And then create a course that's going to get them the result that they want, whatever that result is. So if they, at the end of the day, they want their DIY branding kit, I kind of like the name of that. You might want to write that down. But their DIY branding kit, right? Then you can, the price of that for this course is $197. So you get these 4 videos, what have you. Now, in between that and your premium pricing, say your premium pricing is like a $3,000 package. There's some in-betweens. There could be a VIP day. There could be, my team does some design work for you. So you're going to need a team. You're going to need support. At this point, you should be outsourcing and getting some support if you haven't done that already. Because the reason that you're tired and that you're getting burnt out is because you're trying to do it all yourself. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So some of the things that we entrepreneurs do really well is we forget to delegate. We got to delegate. And you're at that point where you have all this information. You can probably direct other people to help you do it. Now you have a consulting team. My team can come in and they can do. Now that's not the same as working with me, Deb, because I'm the cream of the creme. I'm the top dog. But my team can work with you at a mid-level pricing. And we can also have an offering where my team will teach you for the first month, and then we're out of there, but we're still supporting you for the next, 30, 60, 90 days.
Okay.
Okay. So,
yeah.
So the closer they get to you, the higher the pricing, and otherwise, but now you have a range of offerings that doesn't leave you stuck, but you still need to get clear as to who's going to benefit the most and how you're going to reach them and create a funnel around that.
All right.
Great advice.
All right. So I'm sorry, Jay. I had to get that out of my head because it was like burning up. So Jay.
No, that's.
You were going to add. I'm sorry.
I just wanted to say, Deb, I'm in a lot of. So you must be in California. Are you in Napa?
Yes.
Ooh.
Okay, I'm in Oregon.
Oh, okay.
So I definitely want to connect with you and compare notes and thought processes, because the things that you were talking about. Same thing that I've dealt with locally. I don't want to do local per se anymore. I want to, have national clients that I'm working with, because in some ways it feels like it's easier. But what I'm learning and what I'm working with Karen is that the hurdles that I've come up against is like, okay, well, that's a hurdle. Let's get over that hurdle or figure that out. Or you're going to have to completely just shut the thing down and go in a different direction. I mean, those are kind of your options.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be interesting to compare notes with you and, maybe cross-pollinate some ideas and whatnot. So
that'd be great.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Deb, is that helpful?
Cool.
Yes, it was very helpful. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
You are welcome. And come join the Coaches Corner group. There's more good stuff where that came from. Okay. So on Facebook, folks, come over to the Coaches Corner. Join us over there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We're going to have some fun. We had another question, and then I'm going to reveal the funnel, and then we're going to get off this blab.
Okay. And I'm going to dive into a lot, guys.
All right. Thanks so much, Deb. Appreciate you. Thanks for coming.
Bye.
Stick around though. Don't leave. Okay. So the question is, Linda Barnby, my boo. Linda and I do Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm one of her co-hosts on Linda and Friends. So come check us out tomorrow. It's at 1:00. Linda does questions. So much information is available for free online from various sources, companies, and other coaches. My question is, why would anyone pay for info that's readily available for free with a little Googling?
Oh, good question. I love this question.
I have a shortage.
I know.
Oh, go, Jay. Go.
I was just going to say, because some people, as you mentioned at the beginning, they don't have the luxury of time to try and piece all that together. And then what happens if it's a jigsaw puzzle? And what happens if this piece over here doesn't quite fit with this piece? And you just end up with a big mess. And so it comes down to mindset. Some people value their time more than they do their money, because they have more money than they have time. And those are your clients. Mm-hmm. Those are the ones you want to go after. Mm-hmm. The ones that have the mind, because I spent a year working with a specific industry, a 6,500 member Facebook group, and we thought that we were going to be able to sell them things. Boy, were we wrong, because they had the mindset of they had no money and tons of time.
Yeah.
So their mindset was, well, I'll just Google it. I don't need to pay for your ebook. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Exactly.
And you have to know, you have to begin with the end in mind of the mindset of your client and why they would buy from you
Exactly.
and whether they will buy from you. Because you just,
Yeah.
you know, don't
Exactly.
assume.
And also, I mean,
The killer in online business is assuming. You can't assume anything. You have to know.
yeah, exactly. And sometimes it's
Right.
like,
Is that-
you can't afford
Karen, is
not
that-
to. Would you say, like, you know, you got to
No.
find those people who are like, listen, I can't afford not to get help with this. Like, I am, if I'm messing around with my sales funnel, messing around in Infusionsoft or something, I could find someone who can do it cheaper, faster,
Yeah.
quicker. And in those
Yep.
6 weeks I spent messing around with my sales funnel, I could have been reaching out and finding paying clients. It's
Yeah.
like, you know,
Yep.
Yeah,
I
shorten
always-
my time.
exactly. Like, how much time do you have? And if people have more time than money, then obviously, fine, let them Google it. And the other thing is, as well, as you are your brand. And I always harp about branding, but it's the same thing. It's like if you walked into the store and you were going to buy shampoo, right? There's hundreds of brands out there that provide, that can wash your hair. Everything, you know, you apply it, you lather up, you wash, it smells good, right? What makes you pick one brand over another? Why would you pick the brand that kind of has a different color bottle or it has a different color? What is the brand ethos that the result you want to get? Like for me, I have allergies, so I cannot buy stuff that's got coloring and too many of this funky like glitter stuff and all of that. I'm always looking for something that's hypoallergenic. So for me, I don't care that there are 100 other brands of shampoo. I am only looking for the shampoo that's going to make my hair smell good, that's natural, organic, and hypoallergenic. It doesn't matter what everyone else is doing. I'm sticking with my lane. I know who I want, what result I want to get, and I'm going to find that person who can help me with that to make my hair nice and shiny without, you know, the leftover grease. And, you know, at the end of the day, you want to find those people who value that because you can't make people love you if they don't love you. So,
Right? Exactly.
Right.
Both great points. That and the other piece of it is that you have people read articles, they read stuff, but you have questions. And you can't necessarily, you're waiting for, you know, it's like, I have this question in my head. I would love if I could ask this person that question so I could get the answer. And so, yes, I can Google it, but lots of times that's just a one-way conversation. I just get information dumped on me, but now I don't know what to do with it. I don't know necessarily the next step. So people want that clarity of the next step. Tell me how to do it. Tell me what to do with this information.
Right.
So that's why they'll be willing to pay for the guidance.
Exactly.
So
There's lots of whys. Remember, the whys are readily available anyway. Everybody knows like why you need to do something, but sometimes it's like, well, show me how. Like, actually take me step by step. Give me the action points. Give me the blueprint, so I can really, you know, catapult my learning curve.
Yes.
And get to my result much quicker.
Yep. And yeah, that's what we just want to make it. And we're also a microwave society, honestly. So there's, you know, people are just make it happen now. I want it yesterday. I don't want to filter through the information. So I want it yesterday. And so that's another reason that people are like, you know what, I don't have the time to Google. I just really want this to happen fast. All right. So you guys have been tremendous. I absolutely love you. And I did not forget, people. I am going to go ahead and share this sales funnel. Now, if you're trying to get one-on-one clients, this is going to work. Okay. This is a great sales funnel. It's something that it builds trust. It helps people get to know you. It helps build, you know, the knowledge base that you can show how credible you are. So again, it has to be in front of the right audience. You have to be really clear about the work that you do and the results that you get. So you want to make sure that this speaks to that. All right. So I'm going to give you, it's an email series. So if you don't have people on your email, the first part of this is you're going to need to get people to engage in your email. Now, what you can do is if you already do have an email and they're not necessarily engaged, what you can do is still make this offering to your email to see who's engaged and to get re-engagement. All right. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to offer a freebie. That freebie can be, you know, a checklist. It can be, ebook, something. It's actually something light, something more like a checklist would be good, or a quick fact, something that's engaging, right? So you want to offer that first. That's the first piece of your funnel. The next piece of that is the email for that is going to be, hey, you just received this this freebie, the checklist. This is how you use it. Now you can do a video that's really great because then you're walking through it. At no time are you saying, this is about me. This is who I am. This is why I'm wonderful. This is da, da, da. All you're doing is, here's your free information. I know that you use it. Again, you're speaking to their problems, you're speaking to the solutions that you're solving through this checklist or whatever this piece of information is. Okay. The next email number 2 is all about something that expands and accentuates the initial freebie. So that could be, hey, you know what? I gave you this checklist 2 days and wait 48 hours. I gave this email, this checklist to you 2 days ago, and I wanted to share with you some additional information that really makes this robust because people have questions on how to use it. So now you're going to be able to expand on the process. Maybe it's the ebook that complements it. Maybe it's a walkthrough of each piece of the checklist. It's something that goes deeper. Okay. So now you're telling them how to really apply the checklist.
And that's not another freebie. That's a for sale offer.
No,
ebook,
no, you're not selling anything yet, Jay. No kissing before we're dating. I was rushing a girl. All right. Ross said, hands off.
We're burning daylight here.
No. All right. So email number 3 is now a case study. And this is where you're doing a video. And so if you're shy about video, you need to talk to Mimica and Jay and get on video.
We can write it,
right? But if you can write it out if you're a strong writer, but if you're not a strong writer, I'm definitely going to suggest you do video. Or if you're not so sure about video, but you still want to write it, then you need to speak it and have it transcribed. Okay. Mm-hmm. So this one is a case study about how that checklist and that expanded piece help your client who used this process. Now, I'm assuming that this is a process that you already use, okay? So how somebody benefited from the process that you had laid out in the checklist and that expanded piece, okay? So how does this work? You have now proof that it works, okay? And that's it. You're still not inviting them to kiss you yet, Jay. No kisses yet. Next. Yep. So the final email, the 4th email is, hey, you've been getting this information. You may have some questions. I'd like to invite you. I have 30 minutes on my schedule. I'd like to invite you to have a conversation about how you're applying the information or what questions you have about it. Mm-hmm. Now that's a consult. And in that consult, now you get the opportunity.
Now you've asked for her number or his number. Now you can go on a date.
Right.
We can go further, right?
And you might be a couple by the end of it.
Exactly. Well, I'm gonna say thanks for letting me on your blab. I gotta hop off. I gotta go get my daughter from the bus stop, and I'll be running around like a crazy woman down the street. But thanks so much for having me. This has been awesome. I'm going to be stalking you online as well and making sure we follow up with. And I know Jay, you and I have connected several times. But thanks, Karen.
Yes.
Thanks, Mimica. Awesome. I'll be following you too, girl.
Thanks you. So thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye, Mimica. Bye.
She's great. She's
okay. So you, yeah, she is. So you invite the conversation.
Mm-hmm. And now you have.
I've got time on my schedule.
Yep.
Console.
And you use a scheduling tool. So you should have something in there. Okay. Oh, what's the time between email 2 and 3? 24 hours. So between email 1 and 2 is 48 hours. Between 2 and 3 is 24. Between 3 and 4 is 24. Now you have them on you make sure that you have a scheduling link of some type. Like I use Time Trade. You can use GenBook. You can use whatever your scheduling tool is in there. And now they should be clicking on into a consultation. Now, if they don't click onto the consultation, this is where you're going to continue to have the conversation. You can have a follow-up email that's now 48 hours after the consultation email. And you can say, hey, I offered you some time. Just want to see what's going on. I only have a few spots available, blah, 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 blah. Or I have spots this week. I'm never the use scarcity tactics. I don't believe in that bull crap. Tell them what's honest about your calendar. It's like I have 3 appointments for these particular sessions this week. Then that's what you're telling the truth about. Okay. So, and there you have it. It's now they've seen the information. They actually seen the proof of it. They've actually seen that it works and that you know what you know. Then you can go forward. Deb, I do not have it written down someplace. I hadn't planned that as a funnel. It was just inspired to give that today. But you know what? Maybe I will write that down. I will let you know. Okay. But if in the coach's corner, you might be able to get it. So come on over to Facebook and join us there. Okay, because those are the types of things that I want to have in that community too. Giveaways, freebies, things like that, so that you have a how do I take people from this point to that point. But I wanted to highlight that particular funnel because the end in mind is now it's, am I going to get a client from that? Well, that's going to be the how valuable how well you versed you are in sales conversations. That's a whole different blab for another day. But if you have somebody now on the phone with you, you have a better chance of them becoming a client. And you're talking about where they already are. You're not coming in a conversation that's left field for them. You're actually talking to them about what's important for them. So that's what you really want to think about. End in mind should be helping a person have a conversation with you about what you know that's going to be useful for them and what they already realize that they want help on. And if you're doing it right, then you're doing it right. Everything that you do should be a part of the conversation that's already happening in their head. Okay. If you're having left field conversations, they can't follow you. They have no idea why you're in their life. So always think about, what your business is about and are you always presenting what's on point with your business? Any final words or thoughts on that or anything, Jay? That's good. Anybody have any thoughts or questions or clarification on what I just shared? I will put you in yes, you are welcome into the Coach's Corner. Okay. Well, so this was a longer blab than I thought, but I'm so glad that we were all here together. And I'm so thankful and grateful for my co-host, Jay, because Jay shows up. Jay has been sick, so we're so happy to see you well. And I want to thank every single one of you who's come in and been a part of today's blab. It was just, adding to the conversation with your voice or speaking on the side. There's so many there were so many comments I didn't get to see, and I'm hoping that you felt heard and that you felt that you were appreciated, because I so appreciate you being here and spending your afternoon with me. I am doing the Coach's Corners Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at noon. So unless there's something else that comes up, but Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays at noon, please follow us both. Follow us here on Twitter, on Blab. Follow us on Twitter. Get to know us, and we'll get to know you. And we're building a community, folks. We're going to help a lot of people, and our job is to help you do good work. So we'll see you again soon, and Friday at noon, or Linda and Friends tomorrow at 1:00 Eastern time. Linda and Friends, Linda Barnby, my girl. All right, see you guys later. Thanks so much. Bye.